Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the iWorkinSport live interview. This is the show where we talk to accomplished sport business professionals who come here to share their knowledge, their experience, tips, and advice in order to help you succeed in your career. If we're just meeting, my name is João Frigerio. I'm the founder of iWorkinSport, and I want to say a sincerely thank you, a big thank you to you watching us here today. If you're coming back, you know how this works. This is an interactive session, so prepare to send your questions, your comments, and you can start already posting on the comments where you're watching from. It's always good to know. And if this is your first time, obviously you can do exactly the same thing. Just maybe write in the comments that this is your first time here with us. So today I have the big pleasure to welcome to the show my good friend Diederik Dewaele, Director of Football at the European Club Association, the ECA, which, by the way, will be at the iWorkinSport Convention and Job Fair on the 9th of May. So just less than 2 months at the Swiss Tech Convention Center in Switzerland, in Lausanne. So if you're interested in meeting them and many other recruiters, just sign up. There's a link on the description with more information, and we'll tell you everything that you need to know about the event. Before I invite Diederik to join me, I want to say that this episode is brought to you by Mint. Mint is the leading recruitment agency for sport and entertainment in Europe. Many people may still be familiar with the name Sport Carrière, but the company recently rebranded as it expands more and more into the entertainment and international market. So, if you are someone looking for your next move in the sports industry, check out wearemint.com. The link is also on the description of the video. And if you are a company looking for help to hire the best talent, get in touch with Mint. I'm actually working with Mint internationally, so feel free to reach out to me directly. Right, that's it. So without further ado, I'm going to invite Diederik to join me right after this. Diederik, my
Hey, good
friend.
afternoon, Joe.
So good to see you. Thank you for making the time and joining us today. Will be an excellent session. I've been wanting to have you in the show for a long time. You are, well, I don't, you probably know that, but I hope that people know as well. You are one of those great friendships that the sport gave me. So one of the things that I like the most about working in sport is definitely some of the relationships that we make. And you are a very special one that I made in this 20 years, more than 20 years now.
Look at
We're
that.
going to talk about some of that story. But yeah, it's a pleasure to have you here, Didi.
No, the pleasure is completely mine. I really look forward to the chat today and to the questions from the public as well.
Great, great, Diederik. So the way we usually start here is, I think it's a good way to start is maybe for you to give a quick summary of your career. Maybe let us know what you studied. We know that people might know already that you did the FIFA Master in the same class as I did, so many years ago. But even before that, what you studied at university, how did you start working in sports until now, what you're doing at DCA? You don't need to do it very long, but yeah, give us a summary, please.
I'll try to be brief on this one. I studied law back in Belgium, where I come from. I specialized in social law. I worked 1 year at the bar in Bruges as a junior attorney. And then I decided to move abroad to do the FIFA Master. At the end of the FIFA Master, I was contacted by UEFA to do a 2-month project around agents. So they wanted to know more about agents regulations throughout Europe. I worked on this, but eventually I stayed 3 years at UEFA. And at the last 2 days, I helped organize the first European Club Association General Assembly, which the European Club Association was just created then in 2008. And they needed people from the football department, from the competitions department within UEFA to help organize that event. And 6 weeks later, I started as employee number 2 at the ECA, at the European Club Association. And that is 16 years ago. So I'm still there. Obviously, my role developed quite a bit. In the beginning, when you're only 2, you basically do everything. And then over time, my role at ECA evolved, and I ended up specializing more in the football projects. So pure football representation of clubs in football-related projects vis-a-vis UEFA and FIFA, but also development of football-related services for clubs. That was in a nutshell. That was a very short nutshell, João.
It was. It was. Let's talk a little bit more about that then. Uh, Actually, before Diederik, we talk. Ask you to expand on a bit more details of your current work. Just to let you know, we have Renata Hot saying hi to you here. Devendra Sardesai. There's someone here that is not showing the name from Geneva. Jesus from Paris. And Pav is listening from Birmingham. So they're watching us on LinkedIn and on YouTube. So I
Great.
see that there are many more people watching us. So if you want to just let us know who you are and where you are, let us know too. But yeah, Diederik, so about your current job now, director of football, what does that entail?
It's quite diverse. So I'm overseeing activities on projects on
Maybe,
men's
sorry,
football, women's.
Didi,
Yes.
sorry, maybe I should have asked even before you talk about your role specific as director of football. We just assume that a lot of people know what ECA is,
Yes.
what it does, and sometimes we have people that are kind of starting their journey and may not be
Mhm.
very familiar. So maybe explain a bit more about the ECA, the role, why do
Yeah.
you exist, what is it that you do, and then we go back to what you do. Is that okay?
Perfect. Yes. I should have started with that anyway. So ECA is an organization based in Nyon, Switzerland, which represents European football clubs in discussions with other stakeholders. So we currently have 742 clubs all over Europe, covering all associations that are a member of ECA. And we, on one hand, we represent these clubs in discussions with UEFA, with FIFA, with other stakeholders on a variety of topics. For instance, on European club competitions or on the release of players to the national team, on financial sustainability regulations, on sustainability in general, on commercial topics, and so on. At the other hand, we offer services to all these clubs because, of course, these clubs, they also want to learn from each other. They want to learn from specialists. They want to just be able to be given the tools to raise their standard, their quality within the club. So we, as representatives of clubs, try to really work towards offering these tailor-made services that help them increase their quality.
Great, great.
That's in a nutshell. So
And
that's ECA. And then my
yes,
role in there as director of football, as I mentioned before, um, I am in charge of the football-related topics. So to give an example, I've been supporting the working group, dedicated working group, and been discussing directly with UEFA in the development of the European club competitions. So everyone might know that in the current season there is a new format in the European club competitions with one ranking of 36 teams instead of groups of 4. This is something that we've been working on with UEFA for several years. And again, this is individual clubs being involved and ECA at the same time. So we discuss with UEFA the various options based on, of course, the starting points. What do we want? And how do we feel that we can get there? And as I said, these are quite long discussions. We have the same kind of discussions on women's football. We have discussions on youth football, on the distribution of the money, the format access list, the release of players to the national team, the compensation that both UEFA and FIFA pay to clubs for the release of the players to the national team, the insurance that's in place. So that's one side. That's more like the representative part. On the other hand, we have then all these services that we offer. And specifically within football, we have services around medical and performance. We have academy visits. We have sporting directors education program, academy directors education program, and many more. It's good fun.
Okay.
Very
So,
diverse.
so you are very much involved in all the hot topics in football in the moment. And is there a normal day for you? Like, can you describe what a usual day at work looks like? Or can you paint a picture? Does it involve a lot of traveling? Do you just go to the office a lot? Um, let us know what it looks like, someone in your role, in your position.
Mhm. Um, I tend to travel quite a bit, um, which is mainly to club-related visits or meetings outside of the office. Like next week, we have a big event in Madrid. We have the first edition of this new sporting directors education program, which we organize together with UEFA. So I will be the whole week in Madrid. The week after, we have a medical and performance event in Warsaw. We have a members meeting in Riga, and so on, just as an example. So when I'm in the office, I would try to spend as much time as possible with the team, just to go through the individual projects that we're working on. I will have meetings with other departments. I will have online meetings with clubs, and then try to reply to all the emails that come in. I think that's a struggle that many people might know, that you get many emails and you don't know when to reply to them.
Yeah, yeah. And literally doing all that, and by the way, Sylvia Solano says hi from Zurich. Valeria Lukovic also sending greetings from Madrid. Um, thanks for being there with us. Prepare your questions. Um, so with all that, so dealing with so many things and quite important things in football, what is it that you like the most about your job? Or say working in sport. I mentioned that the relationships is probably one of the things that I like the most in working in this environment. But how about you? That is very, very much into European football.
Well, the thing that I like the most as well is the human side. The fact that you get in touch with a lot of people, a lot of clubs that actually want to be in touch with you because they want to learn from you. They want to get information that they don't have. But also when you travel to clubs, the fact that they really want to spend time with you, they take care of you. It's very enriching. The different cultures in Europe is very enriching. Different languages, different heritages, football heritage is really enriching. At the same time, I really like the internal environment. We have a very good vibe in the department in ECA itself. So as I said in the beginning, we were only 2. Now we are more than 50 people in ECA. So it changed a lot. But there is a good atmosphere. There is really that will to serve the clubs and to bring club football and the voice of the club to a higher level. So I like that internal relationship and the collaboration with colleagues. And
Right.
it's football. So I've always been passionate about football. I wanted to work in football when I was a teenager, and I'm still very happy that ultimately I managed to build a career out of it. Of course, you don't always see the nice part of football, but it's still football, so I can't
Yeah.
complain.
And what is the part that you dislike then? There must be something that is a bit annoying at your job.
Yeah, it's sometimes a bit political. I'll say like this.
Yeah.
But okay, it's not only in football.
No, no, yeah. I get it. I get it. Yeah. And then, have you been already to, I imagine, working with ECA? Have you been to every European country already, or is that one missing?
Almost. I miss a couple of them. I miss Armenia, Kosovo, Faroe Islands, Andorra, San Marino, and the
Right.
rest I've visited at least once.
Cool.
And
Cool.
again, it's great. It's great. It's the fantastic part. I've managed to go outside of Europe a couple of times, and it's so enriching.
Right. Right. We have some questions arriving already. I'll get to that in a second. Thank you, Ahmed, for the question. Um, Before I get into that, uh, Diederik, I'm very interested in, you know, trying to use this space as well to give some advice to people that want to follow a career similar
Mhm.
to yours, right? So, what are maybe the skills that you have that you think that allowed you to be where you are now?
Um, well, it's a combination of things. It's not just because you have one skill that you make a nice career. Sometimes you need to be a bit lucky. You need to meet the right people at the right time, or there needs to be just the right job opening at the right time. Um, okay, that's one side. That's the part that you can somehow influence by being proactive, by reaching out to people, by building your network, but you don't have it fully under control. But so you need to combine that with a positive mindset. Um, you need to you need to work hard because ultimately the best advice that you can give to young professionals who want to make a career in any industry and who want to really make promotions and so on is very simple. It's only three words: do your best. And it sounds simple, but ultimately, if you are working in an environment and people notice that you add value to the organization or to the department, then the likelihood of them wanting you to stay is much bigger. So that's the first one. So your first job might not be your dream job. It might be an internship. It might not necessarily be exactly in the domain that you originally intended to work. But again, professional life is like normal life. It doesn't always bring you the place that you expect it to come. Sometimes you just happen to become specialized in a certain domain, and then you just build your career around this because you get the opportunities to do so. You can always, at some stage, decide to do something else, but that is at the stage where you already build some kind of a career in a different field where you can afford to just decide to do something else. So it's about working hard, doing your best, having a bit of luck, and build your network.
Right. In terms of maybe some particular types of skills, not maybe even technical skills, because I think that will depend on the role. But if we talk about soft skills, does it matter much if someone is an introvert or extrovert, or how strong are their communication skills, or
Mhm.
or it really varies from role to role?
Yeah, exactly. They don't need extrovert people for every position. Um, so you might be an introvert, you might not be very good at networking, but you might still make a great career because you might be very, very good at something very specific. And then if that's something really technical, then voila, that's great. there is no copy paste template here. But if you happen to be a bit more extrovert, it's important that you build on your network, that you really use that fact that you are that you easily socialize. You just have to channel it a little bit, because people in a more senior position, or if you want to reach out to people in the industry, they don't like overexcitement. If you come in and you sound overexcited about something, and this is my dream job, and I always want to do this and only this job, it doesn't really work like that.
Yeah, so let's talk. So I imagine that you recruit people perhaps regularly there at ECA. Is that true?
Yes. I interviewed 4 people today for one position.
Oh,
So we have
there you go.
a couple of open positions now, and we are going to have some more open positions in the next couple of months. Yes.
Brilliant. So then when you are recruiting, maybe interviewing people, is there something sort of specific that you usually look in a candidate? Or maybe if we talk about ECA or the jobs that you're recruiting at the moment, what do you think are the skills that are most in demand? Um, what do you think?
Well, again, it's a mixture of the hard skills and the soft skills. A lot of people that apply and that end up on the long list, so credit to the people in the HR department who do the first shift. Um, you know, almost everyone that you talk to, they can do the job somehow. Some people might do it differently than others, but that's normal.
It's not rocket
Um,
science.
Most of the jobs is not rocket science, especially the junior positions. If you get into a very senior position, it's something different. But for the majority of the positions that we recruit, these positions are not rocket science. You need to have an understanding of the environment. You need to have specific grounds or specific knowledges. But if you're on a long list, you, let's say, at least the HR department already expects you to have enough of these hard skills. So then you go towards the soft skills. And then it's about being able to pass the right messages in the right way. And there is a lot of personal connection that counts. Ultimately, if you need to choose between 3 people that you interviewed, and there is one guy that you really liked, even though, or one girl, depends, it doesn't matter. But if there is one person that you really have a good personal feeling with, even though it's not 100% what you're looking for, well, ultimately you might prefer to take the one that you get along with best, just because you still need to work with that person. So it is not exact science. And ultimately, it's only after a certain period of time whether you realize whether you made the right choice or not. And again, people develop, people adjust. And again, the number of situations or the number of cases where it really didn't work out is very low.
But I imagine as well that a lot of people approach you, especially when they are interested in applying for a job at the ECA. And I
Mhm.
imagine that there are proper ways to do it. If someone can do it at all, there may be proper ways to do it, and there are probably the wrong ways to do it. What are maybe the mistakes that people make whenever they approach you, kind of looking for a job?
Well, there is nothing wrong with approaching someone. Again, we've all approached people at some stage, hoping that they would get back to us. Um, on the last job opening, so the one we are interviewing for now, I had like 50 people approaching me at the same time. And then, of course, you cannot go back to everyone. So that doesn't mean that I don't want to engage with them. I would love to have time to engage with everyone, but I just didn't have time. Um, it's not it's not about the right way or the wrong way, whether it's via an email or via LinkedIn or via WhatsApp. Um, it's let's say there is nothing wrong by saying, hi, my name is X. I came across my position. Potentially, you can refer to someone who somehow acts as a mediator in between, or someone that connects, and obviously that helps. Then I will try to just say something back. Again, I have to be careful, or people that are recruiting, they have to be careful not to favor certain people just because they reached out. There is a certain process to follow. So I will always redirect people to the process. So if you're interested, apply. And then if I feel that there is something in it, I might just tell my HR people, have a particular look at this or that CV. But ultimately, it's about doing that contact. That's fine. Don't follow up too quickly, too aggressively, because recruiting people takes time. So you might not always get the email or the confirmation that you're in the next stage, or that you are just not in the running anymore immediately. It sometimes takes time. So you need to be a little bit patient from time to time. And that's not always easy, because you would love to have that job for whatever reason. But it's the recommendation I can make. Just let yourself know. See if there is anyone in that you know that knows the interviewer or the person recruiting, and so maybe that you can be introduced. But voila, there is the official project, the official process to follow.
Okay. And Didik, so there's one question here from the audience from Ahmed Tilaev. He did the FIFA Master a few years ago. He's with the AFC now, so I guess he's in Kuala Lumpur. He's asking, what's the ECA's take on the FIFA Club World Cup? I suppose there is already an official statement there, so it's probably an easy one for you to answer. But what can you tell us?
No, we are supportive of the FIFA Club World Cup. We believe that the Club World Cup was something which was in its current format not good enough, and FIFA also acknowledges that. So we felt that there was a need to have a larger tournament with more clubs involved, but less frequently. So in that way, we are very supportive. We also worked alongside FIFA, still working alongside FIFA to make this tournament a success, to make sure that there is maximal engagement from the European clubs in there. So yeah, we are very supportive, and we look forward to the first edition.
Good. There's another one here. The system here is not showing the name, but I can see here on LinkedIn that it's Laetitia Martignon from Geneva. She asked, what are the most pressing needs of clubs these days, and have they changed in recent years? That's Laetitia. Oh, so she signed here, Laetitia.
Thank you for the question. It's the clubs have traditionally sought support on gathering knowledge around topics that are crucial for them, which is youth development, financial regulations, or finance in general, some commercial topics, but less so. It's really around how can we develop our academy, how can we get additional revenues, how much money can we get by participating in European club competitions, for instance, and what are the financial regulations around participating in European club competitions, or the UEFA license, and so on. Financial sustainability rules, as we call it. So a lot of clubs, they reach out to us exactly with these questions. So over time, as such, that has not really changed. Of course, there are certain tendencies. There are moments where, for instance, new financial regulations were approved, so the clubs want to know more about it. or we have a new distribution method for the European club competition. So clubs want to know what is new and how much money they can earn and so on. So, and that's typically why clubs reach out to us. Women's football as well, more and more, they want to know about how to build a women's team, how to make sure that they do it in the right way and so on.
Very good, very good. Thank you, Diederik, and thank you, Leticia, for the question. There is another one coming. I have a few others prepared here for Diederik, but we give priority to the audience, Diederik. So, and especially when we have some very special audience with us. So, John Padilla, he also did the FIFA Master. I think the
Yeah,
first
John, good to
edition,
see you.
if I'm not
Yeah,
wrong, maybe wrong with that. And he's in Neuchâtel. So, John, I'm in Neuchâtel as well. We need to meet up at some point. He asks, what about cooperation between ECA and other similar world organizations? I'm interested in member-to-member contacts, club-to-club. Is ECA a facilitator at this level?
yeah. There until recently there were not really.
I think he also mentioned getting together.
Yeah, yeah, I get it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there is now. Actually, yesterday, the African Football Confederation signed a memorandum of understanding with an African Club Association, ACA, which is very important for clubs in Africa. But there is no such thing in the other confederations, or no such thing anymore. There used to be one in South America for a short period, but I don't think it still exists. And so the creation of the African Club Association is something really good. We are in touch with the people. We want to make sure that they can really develop well, that we are happy to provide them with the information about how ECA was created and what kind of services they can develop and so on. So we are just providing them with some basic support at this stage. We would love to see club associations in other confederations, but of course, it's not always. It's not up to us to go to confederations and ask them to create it. It's something that needs to come from the local clubs and the local confederation.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Diederik. Can you still hear me well?
There's a little delay, but I still see you and I hear you.
Great. So I think I'll ask you a question and then I will refresh my page here for a second to see if I can solve that problem. But I want to ask you about the importance of formal education, Diederik. We mentioned that we both studied together, we both did the FIFA Master. Um, Imagine maybe you can already start sort of the importance that that program had in your own career, but then you can also extrapolate, right? As you recruit, is it something that you see as necessary for people to have some advanced formal studies? Are there other things that you may recommend as well? Tell us a bit of the, say, importance of education for whoever
Yeah,
wants to pursue a career similar to yours.
of course. Um, Well, first of all, I really believe that the FIFA Master contributed to the development of my career. Having an education program which brings together like-minded people from different countries, different confederations, is very enriching to start with. We all come from countries. Like me in Belgium. I studied in Belgium. I worked in Belgium. I didn't really meet a lot of foreign people in my job or at the university. So going to a different country, meeting people with their own cultural habits, with their backgrounds, with their way of living, was extremely enriching. So I really enjoyed that part. At the same time, of course, you have to understand it's a mixture of both. So it's not just, you don't just do that program only for like to learn. Learning, of course, is an important part, but you have to see it in a wider context. So you learn, but you do site visits, you get to meet people, you start building a network, you learn a different language. So it's quite a, I would say, a complete package. So I'm very happy that I did the FIFA Master. I know there are other programs, and I'm sure that they also deliver that added value to the students by having that international environment and the combination of learning and visits and the networking part. Now, for recruitment, um, it really depends on the role, but it it is especially for junior roles whereby you just want to give the opportunity to people to start a career. It might help because it gives you some level of certainty that that person has already lived in an international environment, has already some kind of a network, knows about sports, different aspects of sports, and has seen already a bit of let's say life situations like visits and to federations and so on. So that helps definitely. Yes, it's not the only criteria, obviously, but it is something that really that helps on the CV.
Yeah, what I tell people is that it's one of the important things is that it shows commitment from the person as well. You cannot guarantee that everyone studying, are brilliant, but all of them took a year of their lives, made some investment, put some money in. So at least, it shows that they are taking this very seriously. So I think it's a
Exactly.
really, really good indication.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Um, and you, Diederik, so we shared so a year together first in Leicester, then in Milan, and finished here in Neuchâtel. Just came back 2 years ago to live here again. Do you have a favorite moment from the master? What was the best thing about that year for you?
For me, it was really the international aspect, the fact that you really get into an environment, you're pulled out of your comfort zone. So you get dropped in a group of 30 people with a different background, different yeah, cultural experience, and that was very, very enriching. So to spend 1 year with them, it was not always easy, I have to admit. I had to get used to it, but ultimately it was definitely worth it.
Yeah, yeah, it was really great. Also, this experience of learning how to deal with all these people is, I think that was a great school as well. And I'm sorry you had to put up with me for all that long, but in the end, it went well. Diederik, there's a question here from Pav in Birmingham. Let's see what he says. He says, with legacy brands like Benfica and Ajax not as successful as before, it leads to their brands not being a par with legacy clubs like Real, Barca, Liverpool, etc. Is it hard for ECA to level the field?
Um,
He says something here. I remember Charlie Marshall interview when you mentioned. Uh, okay, yeah, I mentioned to him. Sorry, I pressed that button wrong.
um,
Anyway,
yeah, well, football
so,
clubs
so
are
I
often,
think that there's a discrepancy in football with the rich clubs getting sort of richer and stronger. Can you hear me?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I think I see that there's a delay there, but just to finish, and so I think it is a sort of a problem where there's bigger clubs kind of getting bigger, and so and what's the role of the ECA there? I mean, I think that's more or less the question.
Well, first of all, we don't
In
just
the end of the day,
represent
you
big
kind
clubs.
of pull the teams together. You yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, yeah. Joao, you're frozen, but I'll just answer to the question. So as I said, we don't just represent big clubs. We represent a wide range of clubs. So ultimately, the fact that certain clubs um, are bigger than others for us doesn't, let's say, it doesn't make a difference to the way we treat them. Of course, that's one side of the story. It is true that clubs are prone to cycles. So we have cycles where let's say every club occurs sometimes comes to an end of a cycle whereby they go down a bit in terms of performance. Ajax had something recently whereby they really went down, but don't forget that 5 years ago they played the semi-final of the Champions League. Um, of course, you can't really compare football 30 years ago when Ajax was winning the Champions League with Ajax now, because there are a variety of factors that really led to um, a wider spread of revenues of clubs in Europe. There are various factors that led to that, which includes the fact that English top division clubs, they earn a lot more money on the domestic and the international market than any other league. Um, so um, there is of course the fact that if you play season after season in the Champions League, you earn a lot of money, more than teams in the same league. But of course, that doesn't say everything, because Ajax played several years in Champions League and then suddenly they have a couple of very bad seasons. How does that come? Because football is not exact science, even though there is a correlation between revenues and salary mass and performance. You still it's not exact science. So you might have players that are at the end of a cycle that just and as a club, look at Manchester City this season. They have a fantastic team. They have fantastic players, but it just doesn't work this season. And that's football as well. So you don't buy everything with football. And ultimately, it will all be down to cycles. And these cycles, they might actually be quite long. And it might sometimes take a bit of time for clubs to get back to the highest level. I hope I replied to that question somehow.
Yeah, I apologize. I didn't really hear the whole answer. I have a blue screen on my computer that never happened before, so my computer died. So sorry about that. Let me just see if there's more questions here from the audience. Otherwise, uh, I think we're going towards the end, Diederik, of the talk, and we just talked about the FIFA Master and all that. Now I want to talk about your maybe lesson that you have learned, or a nice story that's working in sport provided to you. So, is there any favorite story that you have that you tell? Maybe a funny one, maybe a lesson that you learned, or something like that that you, yeah. What would be your favorite story working in sport that you would like to share with us?
There are many. Sometimes you just meet people that are that you don't expect to meet. Once I was in I was in for a club meeting in Belgrade, and the then president of Red Star Belgrade was a former film producer. and his daughter was still producing films, and they were having a film set just outside of Belgrade. So they decided to take me there. So before I knew, I was talking to Jerry Butler and Ralph Fiennes about football, and just outside the film. So at a certain moment, I was talking about the MLS and the development of the MLS with Jerry Butler when he was just called back on the set. So that was just surreal. That was very nice. So you get to meet very nice people. You get to witness very nice football stories. But I just saw the question pass, which was my nicest anecdote.
Yeah, it was very similar to what I was asking. So, Jesus, thank you for posting that too.
Favorite sport moments. I had so many. Actually, one of the favorite games I witnessed was during the FIFA Master, not during my work. I see a lot of boring games, I have to admit. I know I go to less games than before, but I saw a lot of games in my career where you have to stay neutral. You cannot just jump. You don't know the people next to you. The game in the stadium is not very exciting. So then you just think about those games that you attended that were really fantastic games. And one of them was Parma against Cagliari. And Joao, you were there as well.
I was going to ask, is that
Um,
the one that we walked with the team to the
exactly.
stadium?
Exactly.
Yeah,
So Parma, it's in the season 2004, 2005. Parma played in the Serie A, but they were not doing well. They were close to relegation. And the fans organized a walk with the players from their hotel to the stadium. So all the
that's
players
right.
were just walking with the fans. And at the time in Parma, there were still some very famous players, including Frey in goal, and okay, for those who know Italian football, Gilardino and as a striker, and so on. And Gianfranco Zola was playing one of his last games for Palermo on the other side, Cagliari on the other side. The game was 3-2 win for Parma. It was a red card for the goalkeeper. It had anything, including a last minute winner for Parma. It was a fantastic game, and I always keep that as a nice souvenir, just to think about. It's not because you go and watch the best teams that you will have the best football. You can have great football with teams that are in the bottom of the league. You just need to be a bit lucky.
That's right. That's right. Was that a game that I think there was a Brazilian called Fabio Simplicio playing for,
Exactly.
and I think he scored a great
He
goal that
scored a
game as
winning
well.
goal. He scored a winning goal. Yes,
The winning goal. That's right. Probably the only goal he ever scored. No, I'm kidding, because he was, I think, a defensive,
exactly.
yeah,
He played on the six.
midfielder.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Diederik, listen, I think we're going to the end, and sorry, everything that I had here sort of prepared disappeared. We can chat a bit more, see if there's any questions from the audience here, but maybe any recommendation that you'd like to leave to the audience here. I usually ask people to recommend a book or a podcast or a YouTube channel, anything like that you would like to recommend. And again, apologies for the technical difficulties.
Yeah, no worries. Well, I have to admit, I don't listen to many football related podcasts. The only one that I would listen to is Sport Unlocked, which is a podcast with a couple of English journalists, Tariq Panja. Who else do we have there? A couple of more. The names escape me now. Rob Harris, and so on. They talk about football politics. So a lot of the things that they talk about are familiar topics. And otherwise, I would just read thrillers in the evening. And I would just switch off from football unless I watch Champions League. And so a favorite book, I would I would just say, yeah, I can't really.
It doesn't have
Soon
to
we
be
will have
sport
the
related.
soon we will have the new edition of the ECA Club Management Guide, which is a handbook full with examples of modern club football management. So I'm sure that at some stage there will be a digital version that will be made available for everyone who's interested.
Well, make sure you share the link with us. We have a comment here from Pav as well saying, great answer, Diederik. Very true about domestic prize money perpetuating the gap between clubs. I think that's where I maybe got disconnected. And great improv as well. We all get blue screens. Yeah, thanks. Well, Diederik, I think we're getting close to the hour anyway. Any final sort of message that you'd like to share with everybody? I think that's you already shared some very nice nuggets for people that are looking to have a nice career in sport. You have one brilliant, right? Really proud of being able to follow all your steps. I remember us talking about the questions that you had about accepting jobs in the beginning, where to go. So I think it's important that people know that anyone that is in a director role at the moment had a similar time of with insecurities, not really know what was going to happen, and what you said before about what you need, including being in the right place, the right time, be patient, and have some luck. I think it's was really humble and but also true and important. So I think that was very good advice. But yeah, I remember our conversations back then, and I'm very very happy to see where you are. So congratulations.
Thanks, Joao. I can just recommend everyone to stay curious, positively curious, and if you ever go to or whenever you go to the next job interview, be prepared. That makes a difference. But make sure that they understand that you're prepared, that you get that you understand the environment, that you know everything, but don't show off with it, because that's not good either. Just be discreet in with your little messages to make sure that people understand that you've done your research.
All right, all right. Diederik, that's a great way to end it. Thank you so much for being here again, and I hope to see you in person soon. Now the weather is getting good again. I've been to your place not too long ago for a nice breakfast with the family. I hope to see you here in Neuchâtel sometime soon as well. So you
Yes,
come to
we'll
my
make
new
that happen. We'll make that happen.
place. All right. Okay,
Good.
Diederik, stay there until I end the stream, please. Thanks everybody that participated. Thanks for the questions and everything. Yeah, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.